Welcome, Vanessa. Welcome to Travel Connections. I am so excited to talk with you today. You have got such great experience, and I can't wait to hear your stories.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I've had a little time and I've told our audience a little bit about you, but tell me more. Let's start with East End Taste. How did that start? And is that the first thing in travel that you started, or tell me how it began?
Absolutely. So I come from a freelance writing background, and I actually also taught English as a second language for a number of years here in the Hamptons. But I perhaps started in graduate school when I was teaching and studying in London, of all places, with the Institute of Education and the University of Oxford, where I did my study abroad program when I was at NYU. This is going back, my goodness, 13 plus years ago. And I loved the experiences that I had and the people that I met who I'm still in touch with to this day. And I find that so fascinating with travel is the people that you meet, you form such a strong bond so quickly, but in the sense that you're able to keep those connections for many, many, many years to come and then some. There's just something about those moments in travel when you connect with someone else.
Exactly.
And yes. And with that being said, is I was teaching, then my daughter was born, and then I was pregnant with my son, and it just became too difficult to juggle teaching, all while my then husband was, working a lot with his residency and starting off as a physician. So I wanted to, and with that, I was freelance writing for local publications out here in the Hamptons, but I really wanted to take charge. I was ready to take charge and do my own project, if you will, our passion project. So I started East End Taste for fun, really to just keep my mind active with writing, because freelance writing is very, very tricky in the sense that you have to keep pitching. There's a lot of busy work, it's exhausting. People don't see it. People don't see the work behind. Oh gosh. Interesting though, I'm diving back into freelance writing, but it's a totally different scope because I have a close relationship with a lot of different editors now. So pitching is a little bit, I won't say more, not breeze per se, but it's more
a lot. Yeah, you're
director to
have those relationships.
That's what it's all about.
So no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So
no.
Okay, so now you decide you're going to do your own thing. So tell me how you progressed.
Yes. Interestingly, to a certain degree, I didn't understand things like, SEO, web development, all of these things on the back end, affiliate links, programs. My gosh, I plugins for WordPress and this, that, and the other thing. I was literally just writing because I love what I do. Really, there's no deep secret besides just a love for writing and a love for my region, which is Eastern Long Island. But then what was interesting is I started becoming invited on trips. But even before then, I connected with a gentleman that I knew that had done marketing for many, many years, digital marketing and such, who worked at a resort property that I was teaching fitness classes at. And he's like, "What have you been up to?" And I said, "Oh, just want to show you my website." He's like, "Well, don't call it a blog. First off, this is not a blog." And why did he say that? Is because there were, other people that were, I already had people writing for me or showing an interest. It was way more in depth. We had different, sections and such. It wasn't just me, like an online diary, so to say. There was a lot of depth to it. And with that being said, is he, really, really pushed me to like, you could make money from doing this. And at the time, this is going back, my gosh, almost 10 years ago now. I said, "What do you mean? How do you make money doing this?" I had no clue what he was talking about. So he explained to me about, different ad platforms and such, and, sponsored article, all of this, that, and the other thing that now we do on a regular basis. But then what was interesting is he taught me how to negotiate with different, businesses and such for content and coverage, and really teaching me the value of my work and what I was doing. Because what was happening is now I needed to hire people for graphics and copywriting, et cetera, et cetera. They came with fees, of course.
Of course.
And I'm going, oh my gosh.
How do I pay for
How do I pay for Exactly. So that's how I was able to perhaps decide what are my rates, what is my value. And with that being said, is continue to build and build from there. I never kept my mouth shut about East End Taste and what it was, and I wasn't afraid to. and in that sense of just sharing and telling people about it. And I think it's because of my true enthusiasm for what I was doing that you could feel it. You could feel when someone is genuine about something, and that's what I've been this whole time. And I'm so grateful for what it is now. I also do events, which are the Hamptons Interactive Brunch and other smaller experiential marketing or brand partnership focused events. And then with that being said, and also in 2018, that's when I started getting invited on what are called like press trips and excursions, tourism boards, DMCs, hotels, et cetera, et cetera. And there's been such a growing demand because our audience is mainly based in the Hamptons and on Long Island. We've also grown into different international markets. So I always like to say like East End Taste brings the Hamptons to the world and the world to the Hamptons.
Right.
Essentially, we're the only publication that has such a strong international audience on Long Island.
Well, you offer a lot to different brands, which I think is
right.
really exciting for you. I'm from California originally. I now live in the Seattle area, but I've been to Manhattan a million times, but I've never been to the Hamptons. And I have good friends who've grown up in the area in Long Island. So I feel a little bit at a disadvantage. Can you give me a little geography lesson? And, I read books, I know Ina, but give me a little geography lesson on where exactly we're talking about. How do I get there?
Absolutely. The Hamptons is actually quite easy to reach.
Okay.
The best way to do that is from New York City. You could take the train from Grand Central or Penn Station with Long Island Railroad, also Jamaica Station in Queens.
Okay.
And so both Penn Station, Grand Central, they both all stop in Jamaica. So even if you were to come in, fly in, you could take what's called the air tram from JFK to Jamaica, Queens. And then from there are several trains that you could take out to the Hamptons. You would stop in like places like Spionk, West Hampton, and then eventually Hampton Bays, Southampton, Bridgehampton. Southampton onward is considered the Hamptons.
Okay.
Then another trick that I do is I park in Ronkonkoma, which is a town midway across Long Island. So it's a little bit of driving and then trains. But what's nice about Ronkonkoma are the trains run every half hour or so. Not to the Hamptons, but from Jamaica, Queens, or from New York City, Penn Station, Grand Central, and they just drive the rest of the way. It's also they're a place to rent a car. It's a little cheaper than renting in New York, the New York City metro area. Especially skipping out all that traffic. Now there's that fee, that commuter fee that they have now. They mean the New York City transit system. It's so funny. Is like, why don't you just drive all the way into Manhattan? I'm like,
right.
Who wants to deal with Manhattan traffic, city traffic? I don't.
Right. No, it's a nightmare. So I always think of the Hamptons as a place you would only go in the summer, but I believe that's changing. Am I right, wrong? Does it extend further into spring? What do you think?
I'll be honest. We meaning the general population, we try so hard to get people out here. I'm not going to lie. Don't bother.
Really?
Yes, I just said it. I'm like,
do businesses close down? Like if you owned a chic little bakery or a chic little dress store, do you close it for a certain number of months?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the enthusiasm, it's so funny, is around August, these businesses, I'm going to stay open year round. I'm going, no, you're not. No, you're not. And then all of a sudden you'll see on social media, around like early November, we're going to close. Stay open, maybe April, May. I say close the doors after Columbus Day weekend. Maybe maybe do a little holiday pop up, and then open May 1st. Don't even bother with even April at this. Because I'm very, very real. There's no money.
Yeah.
Like nobody. Even me living out here full time, I don't go out. Happy hour is not exactly happy.
Well, it's like, quiet. It's probably much quieter, right?
We go into the city. I'm in the city like once, twice a week, or I'm home, be a little hermit.
Right.
I don't. It's funny because I'll tell you, it wears you out. I love the activity out here. In summer, there's so much to do, and there's so many fun, activations, events. There's always something to do around every corner. And it's fun, but then it changes. So like right now we have snow, lots and lots of snow right now, which is a little unusual for out here, but I love it. I'm happy about it. But why people stop? There's nothing to do. We have the seal watching. It's cute. We had Harbor Frost in Sag Harbor, little ice sculptures. It's all cute and stuff. But
it's really not like when East End Taste is telling us, they're sharing stories about a restaurant, a location, an event somewhere in a warmer climate. Am I saying that properly?
Yes, correct. So I prefer to cover coastal destinations like the Hamptons around the world. So like places like Kinsale, Ireland. These are places just come off the top of my head. Cinque Terre in Italy. We have the Algarve, Portugal, and places that I'm discovering. But we even done like Bowen Island in Vancouver. All these little, really cool spots. I want to do some more content for Nova Scotia, Halifax, and such.
Well, that's not warm.
It's not.
That's ever warm.
It's coastal, though.
It is coastal. I love that. And so now we're touching up. And so now we're drilling a little bit deeper. So the coastal part is really what appeals to you, right?
Yes. We do cover other destinations too. I mean, I was just in Davos, Switzerland. So we're doing some content there. I actually skied for the first time.
For the first time? What did you think?
I loved it. First and foremost, loved it. I went on a hill that I never expected to do on the second day. And the hardest thing for me is stopping in that pizza.
The little snowplow thing.
I couldn't stop it. I'm not stopping. I'm really not stopping. My instructor had to ski in front of me. I think I fell a few times.
Yeah.
But I was, as long as you right now, I'm good on a bunny hill.
And there's nothing to be ashamed of that you start on a bunny hill. I started skiing when I was like 8 years old. So it's much easier to just pop right up, right? But my quick story about I don't actually ski any longer because my knees are trashed from playing tennis and doing a million things. However, I did try to snowboard once for about 4 hours. So my whole family, the kids were little, and my whole family's like, they're so into it, and we're all going to go snowboarding. I'm like, yeah, I already know how to ski. I can do this. Oh, no. Because when you fall, you have to get back up. And I couldn't get my old body back up. And you don't spring up. But when you're a little kid, you spring right back up. So my kids did it great. So no, what I did is I took off the board, marched right back into the rental place, handed them the board, and got a pair of skis and went back on skis. And I never looked back. So you might want to try. Well, now that you heard what I said, you might want to snowboard. Did you find a lot of snowboarding in Europe? Because you learned just recently in Europe. So
yes, there's a lot. It's actually, I was quite fascinated that it was equal parts skiing and snowboarding. Okay. Yeah, I was in Davos, which is in the more eastern region of Switzerland. Okay. And I didn't meet any Americans.
Isn't that nice?
None. I know. I liked that. And I liked it. I said it too. I'll echo it. I loved it.
I don't want to say bad things about Americans. I think for the most part, Americans are great, but we do have some poorer representatives when they're traveling, and they kind of blend in a little bit better. But
we have such a reputation, unfortunately, traveling. But what I find cool though is like people, abroad, when they meet Americans, they're like all like excited, and I'm like,
it makes me feel great. It makes me feel really great that they're happy to meet me and they want to learn more. And I think that's wonderful. I honestly believe that traveling really brings the world together because you are I wish more people could travel more in Europe and in other countries, other continents, because I think it gives you better perspective. You get to see what it's like to live in Africa, to live in South America, to live in Iceland, right? And if you go to these places, then you have that knowledge when you come back here, like, oh, not everyone's like me.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
It's such a wonderful experience. And I mean, now even with social media, I mean, I was traveling way before social media was a thing, but I love that now we can actively stay in touch so quickly. Like I've been DMing people all morning that I met abroad.
Isn't that fun? It's so fun. I know. I
Yeah.
was in Rome recently and I met this
Nice.
wonderful person who lives in Hong Kong, but she's from New Zealand. I mean, she was so fascinating.
Yeah.
She teaches in Hong Kong and we're friends on Instagram.
That's
And it
awesome.
doesn't go away because we have this commonality, right? So travel
Yeah.
commonality. So, okay, enough about me in general. Let's talk about the Hamptons brunch.
Sure. Yeah. So
Photos are gorgeous. Tell
thank
me.
you. Oh gosh, thank you. That is an incredible thing that I've created that I have these moments of how did I just do that? Because I'll tell you, when you're planning a big event like that, you're at a point where it's like, it's always fun until like 2 weeks before and you're going, why did I sign up for this? No, somebody saved me. And you're like, you can't be saved. It's happening.
No,
Like
you got it. The train's moving. You got to
train's
go.
moving. And it's all these details that people don't see for a bloody 4-hour event. Like what? Like nobody and nobody ever. But now, but the beauty of it is I don't want anyone to see it.
No.
Who cares? That's not the fun part. Nobody wants that. So
Well,
it's
what is
that
exactly?
Sure. So that is actually East End Tastes is our annual marketing event, if you will. So it's bringing a lot of our like sponsors, brand partners, advertisers, summer partners, etc., to just do an event in person. And why did I decide to do that?
Love this.
We're a digital company, and I'm going, I want to do something in person. It's so hard to become face to face, and I love the interaction. What's interesting is when I started out with, if somebody told me I was doing more, speaking engagements, in-person functions, I was always a behind the camera, behind the computer, a writer like that. It was completely out of my comfort zone. But now I've jumped into it full throttle, and I'm very, very grateful. So I started off with a really great event production team, working together with them. But then I've now doing the events on my own. And I am very, very pleased with what we've done. We're going to be doing some smaller events this coming season, just for personal reasons. I'm, going through a divorce right now, so I can't, you need a lot of emotional stamina and capacity to do these events. Sure. And I'm always one that if I have a lot on my, just being on like a lot on my plate and I don't, I have nothing to hide. Like people know I'm going through it. I'm like, but I'm going to do it. But at the same time, can't be doing something too large for
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
But I still want to do something. So we're going to be doing some smaller functions. I'm actually in talks with a bunch of potential sponsors now. So we'll see. And I actually would love to bring the event internationally. I would love to bring the event to Munich because I have a nice relationship with the German tourism board. Switzerland is a potential, and even Florence. So we'll see. I'd like to attend some more events there and see how it runs, see what the goal or the purpose would be. It's always fun, planning an event, but what is the goal? What is the end result? I would like to say, if you were to press a magic button, what would you want that magic button? Correct. Like, do I want more readers? Is it just, planting the seed there? Is it, more international advertisers? Is it a business part? What is it? No, I have to figure, I'm figuring that, and I know, but I'm open to exploring other options there. So the event started in 2018 and it grew to what it is, today. And it's sold out. It's a sold out event every single year.
That's so great. Well, what's nice is, we've become so digital that now we're doing business on text where nobody's calling each other. We're not having these. There are conferences. I don't really go to them much.
Yeah, but then everyone's on their phone. Like I was just at
everyone's
something
on
this
their
morning,
phone, right?
And I'm looking around and I'm like, this is me. And I'm not one of them. I'm not afraid to like, a little obnoxious, but I'm just like looking at it. Oh, that text could not wait. LOL. So cool. Wow. That's very, very important.
Exactly.
I've done that when I was speaking. I'll literally like get up and look at what someone's text. Oh yeah. No shame.
I love that about you.
I get up, I look and go, oh, let's see what we're talking about. Oh.
Do you think
so cool? LOL was so important to write.
Do you think that they're so afraid to be disconnected that they need to stay connected? Can't we connect in person? Are people missing the point?
What's funny too is I find that's another reason why I love to travel is you're forced to connect with others in person. I have no fear whatsoever of going out to eat alone, going to the movies alone. I do it all the time when I'm traveling. The best thing to do, that best advice, and also in Europe, you don't see a lot of people on their phones as much, at least that I've noticed. And I encourage it here. Like, let's get off our phone. Like, let's go meet in person. Otherwise, I won't meet at all sometimes. And I do understand, busy this, busy that. But I noticed there's this, I'm hearing the word anxiety a lot. But is it really anxiety?
Mm-mm. Anxiety of what though? What are you? What are they worried about?
I hear also this phrase too a lot, FOMO, and I never understood what that meant until last year. Fear of missing out.
Correct. Yeah, I know.
And I'm going, well, maybe you should get off your phone
and start living.
Start living.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I did a podcast interview recently. My husband and I went to Paris and London for the holidays.
Nice.
And that was really fun because just seeing the lights, seeing those cities at that time of year. But the point of sharing this story is that we were sitting next to it. We were in Covent Garden and we stumbled into a place called the Oysterman. And it was just a great place to eat. But we sat next to this couple and they were both physicians from Puerto Rico. And they like made a comment about the oysters and then we talked to them. But my point in sharing is we learned so much about them. They're super interesting. They live in Kansas and in Puerto Rico. So they have this really interesting travel life. They've been to many of the same places we've been. But just because we sat next to them, we talked to them, we weren't looking on our phones. We were having a conversation with pure, straight, delightful strangers. But that's what you connect for, right? Isn't that why we're on this planet? What, am I going to just sit and look at my phone all day? I don't know.
Yeah. And why are we looking at our phones too? A lot of times it's like this mindless scrolling.
Correct.
That I don't understand. I truly don't understand seeing who viewed our stories or who viewed our Snapchat, whatever the hell. Like,
yeah, I know.
I don't care.
Well, I think your brunches sound amazing. And I don't think I understood when I read about them that it was more of a connector, right? It's a connector between brands and probably readers and locals and international guests. I love this idea. I think you expanding to Europe, and I mean, you've got people who are traveling back and forth because it's so much easier for you guys in New York to go to Europe than it is for us on the West Coast. It's a nothing burger to fly over there.
I'll tell you, I have a girlfriend. I think she's flying to Ireland today. And I'm like, don't tempt me. Really, I have 2 kids. Don't tempt me. I just got back.
Are your kids travelers? Are they old enough?
They are. They are. I have an 11-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. They're in school. They're in school. I'm going to be taking them to Europe in the summer.
Okay.
Still trying to figure that landscape out. But they're very good travelers too. They're so easy. They pack their own luggage. I go, you be responsible for your own stuff, and I double check, and then I'll blurt things out. You bring your toothpaste, all that good stuff.
Well, you know what? I love hearing that because I think that it also it gives them an education without you educating them, if that makes sense. Right. It's like they're observing all of these things. They're observing their mom do all of these things. So they're going to learn by watching, right? Mm-hmm. So, good for you. Good for you. Well, I know that you actually go to a couple of specific events in Italy. Italy is one of my favorite places on earth. And I'd love to hear about any of the events that you do in Italy because I am all about it.
Fantastic. Yeah. I would say the best place for events that I have gone to, believe it or not, is Florence. Florence is absolutely beaming. And there's so much going on. One event that I recently, there's 2 actually I've discovered recently, is called PT Uomo. So if you're familiar with perhaps with like Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, Milan, PT Uomo is mainly for men's fashion.
Okay.
But it's in June and January every year, and it encompasses a few days. And if you want to see like true, dapper, high quality men's fashion, there's a lot of different, branded, activations and events going on there in Florence. That's a really cool time. I'm going to be going to PT in June, and PT this year it's spelled PITTI. It's June 17th to the 20th. And then there's Florence Cocktail Week, and that's in mid-April as well. So that's definitely one to check out. Again, Florence Cocktail Week. Let me see if I could pull up
Florence Cocktail Week. Well, I'm writing it down because cocktails, of course. But that's so fun. So
that's April 7th to the 13th. And interestingly, Milan Design Week, they did this on purpose. That is the same time frame. Milan Design Week. I actually stumbled upon that event by accident a few years ago. I was in Milan with my then husband, and I'm like, well, "What do you want to do?" And we were in the Brera Design District. That's also April 7th to the 13th. But yeah, Florence Cocktail Week is pretty cool. I have a very close relationship or friendship with Sina Villa Medici property in Florence, and they're one of the partners. They're going to be doing some fun events there. So definitely, if you're looking for a really cool place to stay, there's two. Again, Sina Villa Medici is one of my favorite hotels, and also Hella Vita in Bristol is another beautiful property in Florence to check out.
Well, I absolutely love. I'm actually going to Florence, but not till July.
Oh,
The thing about Florence, I think that's so special, besides the art and the beauty, is that it's so walkable, right? I would imagine that's pretty smart to do events in Florence because it's just so much easier to get around.
definitely. I am looking at doing an event in Florence. Again, I don't know would it be just to plant the seed in Italy, perhaps. I mean, I love Tuscany as well. I mean, oh my God, it truly is as beautiful as they say, and then some. And there's so many different corners of Tuscany to explore as well. So many. It's not just this little. I mean, there's a lot, and I highly recommend just renting a car, driving through Tuscany.
Tuscany's my jam. That's
awesome.
what I know the best. Although we went to Puglia for the first time recently.
I'm going there next
You
month.
are?
In April, early April, for the first time.
Oh, have you? Oh, your first time?
First
oh
time.
My God. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a schlep because it's pretty fun unless you're going to fly to like Bari or
I'm going to fly from Rome to Bari. Yeah.
We ended up taking a train from Rome to Bari, and then we kept going, and we were staying in Lecce, and we did day trips from there. Oh, I loved it so much.
Nice.
I don't want to say unspoiled. The Italians know where it is, but I don't know if the Americans know per se, and they're not flooding there.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Not yet. I don't think they will for a while. Americans like quick, they like to Napoli to Capri. They like, bam, bam, easy. They're not going to be going off the. They're not. They're just not. It's just, unless you're an avid, serious traveler. I know one of the reasons that I'd like to go to Albania. Finally, I'd like to go.
Tell me why? Because I like to go to places that everyone else isn't going.
I'd like to go to Albania because I have some close friends from like Kosovo and so nearby, but mainly because looking at the photos and such, it's very, very reminiscent of Croatia, Portugal. I mean, if you look at if just Googling Albania, I mean, it's quite a bit of the country is all on the water. On the Adriatic Sea, and it's on the Ionian coastline. It's absolutely stunning, and it's I'm pleasantly surprised with how cheap it is.
Yeah. Well, there's your draw. I think you've got coastline, so maybe you should do one of your events in kind of an obscure location because you have people going, "Wait, I've never been to Albania." I make choices of travel like that because it's like, well, I've never been there. I mean, big travelers have been to the main cities, and I think that would be fun to plan an event in a location that isn't necessarily somewhere that everyone goes.
Yeah, and I could do some cool marketing content. Oh yeah, that would be
brainstorming on a podcast episode.
And then even like do it in the summer. People are like, oh, don't, because Europe in the summer could be a real beast, but.
It can.
If you go somewhere though, that's not,
Yeah. And also when you're in Europe and you're going, between countries, it's not hard to pop from one place to the next. So if you wanted to see a big city and do that big city, but then you could go, somewhere more quiet. Well, that's really cool. So you're planning these events. You've got East End Taste. Is there any other? That's a lot of plates in the air.
That is a lot of plates in the air.
It is. So how do you do that? Because I do the same thing because I write and I have the podcast and I have my own private tours now. So
nice. Yeah. That's wonderful.
and I'm doing that. So there's a lot of things that are happening at once. How do you stay organized? Do you have any tips for me?
Yeah, the best. I mean, I do a lot of compartmentalized work. So I focus on one thing, but then I jump to another, and I jump to another. I'm constantly, and it keeps, interestingly for me, at least, it keeps me fresh with ideas. If I'm not working on something for too long, could be maybe because I have undiagnosed ADD. I have no idea. That could
I
be.
relate to you, but I'm just wondering, like, do you have lists? Do you have
Yeah,
spreadsheets? Do you have?
I do lists. I do lists twice a week. So I'll just sit. If I have too much, like what I do is if I have just too much on my mind, I put it down on paper and I look to see what I have to do. And it could be as simple as email so-and-so, call so-and-so, finish this project, et cetera, pitch this. That helps. That helps putting it down on paper and seeing what I have to do. It also helps me to slow down and not take on too much. I have a tendency to take on too much work. And I've gotten better and better at it because making those lists puts everything into perspective for me. And I go, ooh, yeah, there's no way I could do 15 of those things this week. That's not possible.
15 of those.
All in
That's a big
addition
number.
to that. Yeah, so I do. Well, I also do like self-defense, jujitsu, and tactical training. So I actually decided to put. I was always, even like when I was teaching fitness classes before that, I'm like, well, I love going to the gym so much. Why don't I make some money doing it? That's how I started teaching fitness classes. Well, now it's like I love self-defense. I take these classes and I do a lot of tactical training, doing that for a number of years. Why don't I make some money? So now I do. I'm going to be doing armed incognito security for events out here. So what does that mean? Was I go to these events already? Why not go? I mean, I can't double, per se, and enjoy them as the same way. But I'm like, I'll go, but work, but I'll be dressed up as if I'm a guest. But no one will know. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to be doing with
I can't believe you just dropped that at the end of this episode, but that's an episode all by itself. You're like,
that's an episode.
This glamorous person. I guess it's a thing, isn't it?
It's a thing because now
safety and security is important, isn't it?
There's out here. Yeah. And also you need to, for a certain number. So I know that from doing events is if you're over 250 persons, at least in the town of Southampton, you need security by law.
Okay.
By the town code. But then why not actually put my licenses and work to good use? Because I have friends that are close friends of mine that are PIs and retired police officers. And they're like, no, so why don't you just do this? It's like, I just took the training for security guard component. The armed security is a whole other 40 plus hours of training, on the job training. And I'm like, why not? I do this already anyway. Why not?
Oh my God.
So I am available for hire for all your event needs.
Yes, you are. Well, I have really enjoyed talking with you. I feel like we have barely scratched the surface. But in order for our audience to follow you, to find your website, please give me the links to your social media and to your website.
Yeah, definitely. So my website is eastendtastemagazine.com. and East End Taste on most major social media platforms. And then if you want to find me, I'm VanessaPGordon.com or Vanessa P. Gordon on most major social media platforms.
Oh, wonderful. Vanessa, you are delightful and so interesting. Thank you so much for coming on Travel Connections. We have made a connection. So I hope to have you back on the program another time. Thank you so much.
I would love that. It's a pleasure. And thank you. I really appreciate your time very much.
Thank you, Vanessa.